what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Somebody, okay, well, how good can LSU be? Certainly, defensive tackle remains a bit terrifying. Defensive back, I think it's actually in a better position than tackle, I would say, because you have bodies, even though you would feel like that should be the bigger weakness. But I love the coaches. I love Bo Davis. I love Corey Raymond trying to solve both these issues. So I feel pretty good about that. But then offensively, you should be pretty awesome. And when you talk about Garrett Nussmeier, you talk about LSU offensively, where they had so much success been with that wide receiver room as of late, and you start to look at it, and this room is shaping up to be pretty damn good. I mean, Kyron Lacey, if he can get his hands right, he can be one of the most dominant receivers in the entire country, I believe. Chris Hilton Jr. should take over as your BTJ deep threat. I don't know. Well, what do you think, Jake? What's holding Chris Hilton back from being that even this year? Because it seemed like he had flashes, but there maybe it was just not getting the reps. Maybe why is it that he hasn't been able to maybe exploit his speed more consistently yet?
Maybe the one thing needs to continue to work on is contested catches. Brian Thomas Jr. was really good in that category. Malik Neighbors obviously was as well. And that's one of those things you have to have if you're going to be the deep threat. Like, yeah, speed is the must. Like, it's number one, but also being able to catch in traffic. Because it's going to be a lot of times if you're the burner, like you're going to have to go up and you're going to have to go get it, right? It's going to be a deep shot. It's going to be a moon shot, and you got to go up there and grab it. And the defender is going to be draped on you, so you have to find a way. I think that's probably the one thing that he needs to continue to work on. The talent is there. We've seen the talent. We've seen the speed. We've seen flashes, like you said. But if you want to be that guy, like it's not even 50-50 at that point. It's like you need like 75-25 to really be that guy.
Yeah.
Because when you threw it up to Brian Thomas Jr., you figured it's about a 75% chance he's going to come down with it.
Yes, absolutely. It's the same thing that we talked about Washington. Technically, you could describe those balls as 50-50, but when it's Michael Penix Jr. and Rome Odunze, it's more like 85-15.
Yeah.
Until you ran into a really good defense in Michigan. But so Lacey and Hilton, I would feel like, are probably in that mix. And then so it becomes interesting. Who's going to be that third person? Aaron Anderson has the most stats, but I didn't see enough from him this year to make me feel confident about that. Xavier Thomas from Mississippi State. Like that, I guess that's the whole point of this, is there's two actual really big pickups through the portal. Maybe the biggest pickups LSU's had in the portal this offseason, and they're both at wide receiver.
Yeah. You
got Xavier Thomas, who should be your returner. Next year, he's one of the best kick returners in the NCAA. He had a touchdown return against A&M. And in an offense that was anemic. Remember, Jake, he was the only guy that we said flashed on film at all in terms of a playmaker that could threaten you. And then there's C.J. Daniels, who is the number 8 overall. He was the number 8 overall prospect in the transfer portal. He comes over from Liberty. He was a number 2 wide receiver. He's behind Evan Stewart, but ahead of Isaiah Bond. And he brings, he's coming off a hell of a year. Over 50 catches, over 1,000 yards, and I think it was 11 touchdowns on the year, maybe 10. But either way, like, so I guess, is it C.J. Daniels, Kyron Lacey, and Chris Hilton with Xavier Thomas mixed in? Does Xavier Thomas pass one of them up? Does Lacey's or Hilton's inconsistency hold them back? And then you still got Sheldon Sampson, Ibieta, Parker kind of waiting in the wings. So I don't exactly know who's going to win, but I'm very excited to watch this new wide receiver group coalesce and who's going to help out Nuss as he tries to follow up a Heisman performance.
Yeah, Simpson and Parker figure like, they're going to be into the conversation in spring practice, trying to push to get one of those top spots. I know they're really excited about those two players. You mentioned a couple of returners in Anderson and Thomas. What else can you do? Like, what else can you do to help this receiver room?
Yeah.
Like, we saw Aaron Anderson enough to know that it's got to continue to get better and go up. Gosh, just figure out a returner, by the way. Like, one of you.
Xavier Thomas has to be the guy.
Figure it out.
Because he's already done it on the college level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if he comes here and gets worse, then it's like, well, how are we coaching it? What are we doing? Because we've already seen him be great at that in the SEC. So without a doubt, you should have a guy that it's going to be more than just fair catching.
Yeah, and then when you go to C.J. Daniels, he went to Parkview in Georgia.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. That's a big school.
Pretty big. That's Jeff Francoeur, right?
Yeah, Jeff Francoeur.
That's what I thought. Like that, and I'm surprised. Like I'm looking at his senior year stats. He had like 1,500 yards receiving. I'm surprised. Like he was a low recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah, no. Parkview's one that when I was growing up, that was one of the big dogs. Them, Brookwood.
But for whatever reason, like on ESPN, he was 3 stars. Rivals,
that's like a
2 stars.
That's like a big
2,
like
4,
5.
7, 2 stars.
Hey, watch out, boys.
And then he's worked his way up to be.
Looks like that table just popped up a little bit.
Now he's a 4-star with a 97 rating.
Jake sees 2-star at 6 to midnight immediately. He's like, hold up now. We might need to look at this guy a little closer. But to your point, to go from a 2-star to now enter the portal and be a 4-star, yes, that speaks to someone that should excite you.
Right on the verge of being a 5-star.
Yeah, somebody who has proven it in college.
Yeah, and obviously that goes a long way. And Liberty's competition's not going to be obviously LSU's competition. But before they went to the Conference USA this year, I mean, they basically were playing an ACC schedule. Like if you go back and look at who they were playing, there was that one year they had like 5 ACC games and they won 4 of them. And so it's not Conference USA throughout his career, but his stats look really good on paper. The film looks good. He could slot in, and I think he's going to be he'll be on the field in 11 personnel without question. Like, where does he slot, though?
Brent Martin says, bro, you just said our wide receiver group should be a strength and then led off with if he can get his hands right. No, I said the wide receiver group has been your strength in recent years, in your best offensive years.
Both those things could still be true, right? If Chris Hilton gets his hands right, the wide receiver core should be a strength for you because you have a lot of returning talent.
Even more Kyron Lacey than Chris Hilton, because Kyron Lacey is such a physical freak that
great after the catch when he catches it.
Yeah, he could put up those insane numbers. But no, I don't know that. I think no, actually, yeah, I guess you're right. As funny as it sounds, I guess that statement is true.
Yeah, like both of those can be correct.
If they get better at doing the very base thing of catching the ball, their physical talent is overwhelming enough where you will once again be looking at one of the best groups in the entire country.
I mean, this isn't just 1 year, by the way, for C.J. Daniels. I mean, it was, you go back in 2021, he had, 629 yards, led the team, had 7 touchdowns, and, even battling injuries. In 2022, still had 800 yards. And so, I mean, he's
played like 40-something games, hasn't he?
Yeah, the stats have gotten better each and every year as well.
Is C.J. Daniels wide receiver 1?
I still think Kyron Lacey would have that opportunity. Now, what happens in spring practice, what happens in fall camp, that's got to play out. But I think Kyron Lacey will have that opportunity to be number 1, be the go-to guy. But C.J. Daniels, I would be shocked if when you start the year against USC, when you're out there in 11 personnel, if it's not Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton Jr., and C.J. Daniels.
Feels like that.
With Mason Taylor at tight end.
It feels like that. And then it's like, okay, well, who's going to be that slot guy that comes on? Or I don't even want to pigeonhole the slot guy because who knows?
I mean, I think that would be Daniels being 6 foot, 179.
Yeah, you'll probably move it. Even if you're 4 wide, that's where you're going to play him. So whatever. But who's going to be that 4th guy? Will be Thomas, Anderson, Shelton Sampson. We'll see. So the overall point, though, good on him for making a very strong group even stronger this offseason. Also, in this, I learned that Kai Preen moved to the defensive back during bowl prep. It's always a bit odd, but we've seen it work out very well in the past. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe something to keep an eye on.
My man, John Trey Kirkland, went back and forth.
Yeah. He did it all.
What was the other guy that started at receiver from Texas? He played in that Fiesta Bowl, which they were like one play away from Gordy getting.
Oh my God.
Manny Netherly.
Yes, Manny Netherly. Manny Netherly. Great name. Yeah, after Grant Delby got ejected on some bullshit.
I mean, there was like no bodies.
And then Corey Webster, I thought that.
I didn't mean like nobody, like there are nobody, like no like physical bodies that were like left to go out there.
I was feeling insecure about this because I wasn't sure if I had my memory correct, but Corey Webster was a receiver coming out of high school, wasn't he? Yeah.
And so was Jack Hunt.
Okay.
Rustin.
Hell yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Jack Hunt.
Oh, y'all are missing
believe you me, Coach Saban.
Morris Claiborne.
Mo Claiborne was wide.
Mo played everything at Fair Park, like everything.
I didn't know that.
Like quarterback, Saban was going to try to move everybody he could to defense. Jimbo used to talk about it all the time.
Hey.
He talked real fast and got real mad when, Nick, I was trying to move all my guys over their defense.
I mean, but that's why
I did it. Justin Vincent did it. No, we didn't stick. These guys actually could backpedal, so they actually had a shot.
I mean, but that's why why Lincoln Riley's team's defenses suck, right? These head coaches have a way of prioritizing the side of the ball that they are really good at. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.